Have you ever heard of the Sator Square or the Templar magic square? Because I hadn't until yesterday, and newsflash, it might just have been decoded for the first time, properly, in 2,000 years. Here it is. It is a 5-letter square, which is a palindrome, which means you can read it any which way, upwards, backwards, front and back. Latin letters, it reads Sator, Arepo, Tenet, Opera, Rotas. And if you keep looking at it, you can see any which way, Arepo, read it backwards, Opera, Tenet, Sator, Rota, you get it. Now, this weird little word game has been around for a very long time, with the first one ever found, so far, dating to 62 AD in Pompeii. Now, it's really important to note that you can find the Sator Square or the Rotus Square either way around. So sometimes it starts with Rotus and sometimes it starts with Sator. Now, the original one says Rotus, but as it got replicated and more into the medieval time, it became more popular to use Sator Square. Now, hold that thought because it's important. Now, this square took on a bit of like magic mythological lore. It turns up in buildings, it's carved into manuscripts, stone. People, especially around the medieval times, thought that it could cure illnesses, and they would carve it onto bread and then eat the bread and it would make you better. Carve it into houses for protection, or even skulls, which is very dark. But what does it even mean? So in Latin, it translates to sator, which is seeder or grower or originator or creator. Arepo, which no one has ever been able to translate because it is not a Latin word, so we have no idea what arepo means. Tenet, which means to hold, to keep, to master, to sustain, that kind of word. Opera, which means labor or effort, like work. And rotus, which like rotates, which means wheel, to circulate. So the first like proper study into the Sator Square was in the 1800s, and people have been trying to decode and translate what exactly this could mean and why the hell somebody wrote this down in the first place. So like a direct translation could mean the sower Arepo, if that's a name, works the wheels with care. Or as Christianity grew and grew, people kept trying to sort of connect it more to religious meanings. So it could mean as you sow, so shall you reap. Say that 10 times fast. Or the creator preserves his work. Someone also works out that there is a potential anagram that says Pater Noster, which means our father in Latin, and then A and O, which are the symbols of like Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. However, there is a new translation. This gentleman called Bob Grenier, who is a scientist volunteering at the Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project YouTube, is doing a deep dive research into the Sator Square and connecting it to his research and experimentation in low energy nuclear reactions, essentially cold fusion. Now, I know you're like, wait, what does low energy nuclear reactions have anything to do with this old Roman Sator word game? But trust me, trust the process, it's connected. Bob's research is showing that under the right conditions, elements can go through something called a fractal toroidal moment, which is a really posh word for a vortex or a whirlwind or a rotating rotus. Now, one of the results of these elements going for a little ride through a miniature vortex is that you can not only transmute chemicals, literally change them into other things, but you can also rip matter out of existence, as in here, and deposit matter on the other side of the vortex. Now, this is sounding crazy sci-fi, but this is legit experiments that you can do at home. Right, as a little example here, this is a sheet of aluminium which has been submerged in water and a sound frequency applied to it. This activates this toroidal rotating vortex, and look what happens to the aluminium. So not only in these mini vortexes are they ripping up matter from the aluminium, transmuting the chemicals and leaving a little gift of different chemicals, the very definition of alchemy. The shape that these whirlwinds leave behind is a yin-yang. So in the nutshell of nutshells, it's possible through this quite simple process of creating mini vortexes through moving water and turbulence, sound frequencies. You can create and destroy matter and change chemicals. What does it have to do with the Sator Square? So back to Pompeii, where the Rotus Square originated. Bob found out that there was a huge immigrant community of Jewish people in Pompeii at that time. Now, Jewish people, even though this is written in Latin, read from right to left, not left to right. So the original square, which was the Rotus Square, right, this way round. So if you read it backwards for us, from right to left, which is Sator, Arepo, Tenor, Opera, Rotus, bloody hell. Now we know that Jewish symbology is heavily, and wording is heavily encoded with ancient principles, sort of science, magic. It's why the Masons and the Templars have a lot of Jewish imagery. Is it possible that somebody from the ancient Jewish community moved to Pompeii and created this in the modern Latin, but encoded some secret knowledge about ancient science? Bob theorizes that Arepo, that nobody's been able to translate for like 2,000 years, potentially could be A to O, alpha to omega, rep, which means like repeat. So alpha, repeat to omega, eternally, keep rolling that, which would mean Bob's translation reads, the divine creator, from alpha repeatedly to omega, comprehends and works with whirlwinds. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg of what this potential technology, this potential science could do. We're talking cutting ancient stone. We're talking clean energy, changing chemicals into other things, carbon to oxygen, that kind of thing. This is just literally the beginning of a big deep dive. I'm going to do more videos, but I wanted to tell you this because I found it out yesterday and it's blown my mind. What do you think?